Hello everybody, this is Buddy Webb here in Midland, Texas. I'm going to do a little video for you today that I think is going to be really interesting. It's something I don't think I haven't done a video on before. I've posted on my Facebook about this, but I haven't created a video, and I think you're going to really find this interesting, and it might be, you know, a part of the answer of what's going on, and so I think I want to start there. There's been some Grande Tech. Grande Communications is who does my TV and internet. 3 different Grande Techs have been in my house over the years or whatever, and they have given me information. And one thing about, you know, these Grande Techs is they get up into the attics of people's homes, you know. And and of course there's a lot of people in this area that know my story, and so one of them was a woman. She come over and she told me that, you know, they, as you know, getting up in the attic, they recognized people had been up in the attic. And I don't have that one recorded, you know, of her saying it, and I can't remember her name. I think she was on my Facebook friends list for a while. And then there was a guy named Jesse, and it was a super nice guy. This was last year, I think. And I did get a video of him telling me about he found feces in the attic, you know, and it's really, I'm going to show you that video here in just a second of what Jesse with Grande told me. This video's primary, though, is about another Grande Tech that told me his girlfriend's parents bought a home over in Odessa on Palo Verde, and underneath that home used to be an illegal casino brothel. Okay, and that it was filled in with concrete. You could still see where the concrete was. That's what he told me. And I've told this story to other people around town and posted on Facebook before. And I'm going to show you that here in a minute, where one guy says, no, it's still active, you know. And then I think even I go to estate sales all the time. One of the estate sales companies, lady owns it, Judy Jackson, well-known, high, you know, classy, very super sweet, nice lady. We were talking about one day, and she says, I heard about it, you know. And so there's many people have heard about this underground illegal casino that was in Odessa. Okay, but it's undetermined if it was filled in with concrete or not or whatever. But we're gonna look at that and do an investigation on that, and then. You know, what I find out, and I'm going to show you here more in a minute on the computer, is that when I go to the appraisal district over in Ector County over in Odessa, and I look, and that's how I found out this banker used to own the house. You know, he didn't own it anymore. And I'm not making any accusations, you know, that he knew anything about it, or if it's true. I don't have that information, you know. I mean, that's for law enforcement to ask some questions. But I do remember that my ex-wife telling me that his name is, I think, Jack Wood, that was one of the close friends of her late dad, you know. And another interesting story about her dad, she told me one time, this is while we were together, married or whatever, you know, and she was bragging said, my dad is a king, you know. And you know, and I come right back and I said, I one up you on that one. She said, oh yeah. She just laughed. Oh yeah. I said, yeah. My father's king of kings. You know, true story. But what she was saying was that her dad was a kingpin. He was involved in organized crime, and one of his friends was this wealthy banker over in Odessa. Just happened to own that home that I'm told that there was an illegal casino underneath it, casino brothel, and then I think the other friend was a banker here in Midland on First Capital or something. I can't remember his name, but I just, you know, law enforcement can talk to her about that, you know, and get the, you know, specifics. It was just something I heard. And so I'm going to get started. I'm going to show you this, you know, this little video with Jesse telling me about somebody in the attic, and then we're going to talk about this. You know, underground, the theory of maybe these are illegal casinos. Now, one more story in 2012, after I had survived the murder attempt, you know, and you know, somebody under my home had shot me with burglar alarms going off the attic. You know, back then, all I had was this crazy story, right? And that was used against me. Oh, he's crazy. He thinks people in the attic. Well, there are people in the attic. I saw a person up there. Now there's homeowners all over the place documented reporting people in the attic. It's not a what if, could be. I saw a young Hispanic guy up there one time. You know, it's a fact, 100%, not just my house, all over the place, you know. And it looks like they probably killed the guy that lived here before me, you know. He died way before the 2008 oil show started. Young girl, you know, believed to be killed or my friend Angie told me about a young girl murdered at an oil show party in 2010, and she's leaving my house, and at that party in 5 minutes, I believe was going on in the underground homes that are here, probably the one that looks like it's in my backyard. And you know, so she's killed at this oil show party. I think maybe that's where maybe it was an illegal casino brothel. Okay, you know, and so that would be a great place to have an oil show party, right? But in 2013, the remains of a young girl were found. And then you back up and you go, the last homeowner of my home, Mike Lahan, 27 years old. He dies the week before the 2008 oil show starts. You know, that's real interesting with the, you know, where it looks like there's underground facility in my backyard that might have been used for an illegal casino brothel, you know. And so we're going to look at some of that evidence, and I hope you find this interesting. A lot of it you have seen about my house and you know, and all the pictures on that. I've done them many times. But this other stuff in Odessa is kind of new. And then I got one more in Lubbock where a woman told me there was underground homes over there. You want to see that too, because maybe there's illegal casino over in Lubbock. Story about you work for Grande, right? Your name's Jesse?
Yes.
Okay, Jesse. And you were saying that you went into an attic.
Yes, like a year and a half ago, I went to some customer attic, right? Because I was installing, and then I noticed that there's feces. Well, but not any animal feces, you know, they're big feces, and I kind of knew it was. I thought it was humans, and so I called a customer to check it out because it's stank too, and there was an older couple. They popped their head up and they're like, they're not rats or anything. I was like, nah, they're human feces. So you probably have somebody living in the attic or something. And
where was this at?
I was like 3 blocks away from your house.
In this neighborhood in Fairmont?
Yes.
Yeah. You know, I've had multiple people tell me that people are getting in their attic, that tell me stories, write me, contact me, tell me about it. And then I've recorded a half dozen calls from the police scanner of people in Midland, Odessa calling and reporting something in the attic. I think it's connected to a human trafficking ring is what I believe it's going on. Yeah. Thanks, Jesse.
You're welcome.
This, buddy, I'm back. What we're looking at here is a screenshot that I took a few years ago when I was researching, you know, this home that I was told about by that Grande Tech. And, you know, as I said, he told me his girlfriend's parents had bought that home. Okay. And so where I went, I'm going to show you the URL up here is ectorcad.org. Okay. And that's here in Midland, it's midcad.org. Over there, it's ectorcad.org. That's the appraisal district where you can look up an address and find out who the owner is and who the previous owner is. Okay. And so the address, and in this Grande Tech, it gave me the address. It was 2900 Palo Verde. Okay, and so evidently it was Josh and Abigail Bishop's daughter is who he was dating, and so you know, I had the address, and then you go into the deed history here, and you know, and I dropped that down, and it showed me there that Jack and Sherry Wood had sold that house in 2014. So that was a couple years after I had survived the murder attempt here in Midland in 2012. Is when they sold that. So that's where I found out, and then I was doing the research. I recognized the name, as I said, that was a one of the close friends of the late father of the ex-wife. Okay, and so that's a screenshot though, because what I want to show you, we're going to get here and we're going to go to EctorCAD today. Okay. And I'm going to show you how easy here. You just go to address over here. Okay, you click on address, and that's where we're at. And you click here in the street, and then you go down and you type Palo Verde, okay, because that's it. And you hit enter, and then you go down to 2900. There it is right there, and you can see it here, Josh Bishop right there. And you click on that, expand it. Okay, so now we're looking at what I had a screenshot of. Okay. Now, there's the owner information. And then you go down to deed and exemption information. and all of a sudden Jack Wood is gone. They've taken it out, you know, and I think that might be a clue in itself. I always find that kind of interesting when, you know, I don't know if I want to call it evidence, but, you know, evidence disappears, changes, or whatever. But y'all see my print screen 3 years ago, it was there, and it's no longer there, you know. And so I think that's interesting. I'm sure it wasn't accidental. Somebody asked them to do that, you know, and who and when and why, I don't know, but I just know it's no longer there. I mean, if the public goes and looks up that home, they're not going to see that. Okay. So I Googled this Jack Wood because I don't know him. I'm not from here. And, you know, and it looked like, to me, he's probably one of the wealthiest people in Odessa, you know, and so I'm seeing here, and where he's looks like the president of Cullen Frost Banks, you know, and here's a little biography that I found on the internet, and I'll just do this short read here. Mr. Jack Wood, an Odessa native, a co-owner and director of Permian Enterprise, a family-owned pipe coating business. Along with his brother Don and their father Clay, Mr. Wood acquiring controlling interest in WNB bank shares, and period. In 1985, okay, for 29 years, Mr. Wood was president and CEO of Western National Bank, which merged with Cullen Frost in 2014, 2 years after I'd survived the merger. He also served as a partner in Southwest Convenience Stores, which owned 172 7-Eleven stores throughout the Permian Basin until it was sold to Alon in 2011. He graduated from Tech and with a bachelor's degree in business management. Mr. Wood is a past chairman of the Odessa Chamber of Commerce, the Odessa Industrial Development Corporation, Odessa United Way, Boys and Girls Club, founding member of the Medical Center Hospital Foundation, member of the University of Texas Permian Basin Development Board, Texas Tech Advisory, Permian Basin Area Foundation, and Texas Small Business Advisory. He was appointed to Texas Water Advisory by the Lieutenant Governor. Okay. So you can tell this is a very wealthy and important and well-known man in the community. And I'm sure not making any accusations, you know, against Mr. Wood. All I'm doing is following the evidence on the murder attempt on my life that left me crippled for life, and then the murder of the little girl, and then the suspected murder of the last homeowner, and these underground homes, all these other homes that are rigged in the area, the massive racketeering, organized crime that's going on with the rigging private homes, people getting in the attic, suspected human trafficking, burglary, theft, privacy, invasion of privacy, terrorism, the list goes on, of all the many crimes. And I'm like, once again, I'm not making any accusation. I just want you to know that that's what I was tracing the evidence out, and that's what I found. Okay. And so here, I'm going to show you another thing here is one theory that I had a long time ago, that I was at the Midland FBI office in 2012. I printed off the pictures of the then secret police. They finally got identified, 6 years later, right? Because I offered a $2,000 reward. First time in the history of America that's ever happened. Not a news story in the nation. So it tells you somebody very powerful is involved, right? But anyways, I'm down there talking to this FBI agent named Dominic. That was in 2012. I just survived a home invasion, premeditated murder attempt, and I have all this evidence, proof that I wasn't shot with my gun is proof of somebody shooting me, and breaking in your private home, shooting somebody, that's Charles Manson stuff, right? And so anyways, I'm telling Dominic, maybe it's an illegal casino brothel. And he says, maybe, and he says it just like that, long, drawn out, it's like, I guessed right. Boy, I got that one right, so that's what I'm thinking. And of course, that's just not this home in Midland. But that, I'm thinking that's what might have been going on here. Okay, what I want to show you here is I just went to Google Maps and I put in game rooms, okay, Odessa, Texas. And what we're looking, this is the city of Odessa here, and this is the city of Midland, okay. And what I want to show you is, You can see all them game rooms over here. There ain't no game rooms over there. There's one, and I don't think it's a game room. And not all these are game rooms either. One of them is Best Buy, another Synergy or whatever. But the point I'm making is them game rooms are all over Odessa, and they ain't got none over here in Midland. You know, maybe what's underground in the 4, 3-bedroom homes, at least 25 foot deep, where they were alleged to having pedophile parties, believed to be having the famous oil show parties, prostitution, all that stuff. Maybe that was a game room. And game room, i.e. illegal casino. It's where you can gamble, right? You can, you play poker or whatever, slot machines, and then along with that comes the other organized crime with the drugs and the prostitution and all that. Okay. And so I just wanted to show you that. And here I had posted on my Facebook before of this story. Okay, and so here's a screenshot of an old Facebook post, and this guy writes under it, Louis Sentes. He says they did not fill it in with concrete. They use it. It's still in secret. Okay, and so I just want to make a point of that. Maybe law enforcement want to talk to Louis, because Louis seems to know something. And as I said a minute ago, lots of people have said that they've heard about this illegal casino that is over in Odessa, And so here at Google Maps again, this is just looking down from the top. I want to show you, this, that's what that address looks like at 2900 Palo Verde. And it's an impressive home there. Of course, as I said, this is an extremely wealthy person, but that is the home where it was alleged to be an underground illegal casino brothel by this Grande Tech, and he said his girlfriend's parents, evidently the bishops, had bought the house, and said that you could see concrete down there below it where they poured concrete to cover it up. He even said there was a tunnel went from one home to another home. Well, that sounds like what I've said, was going on over here, And so there's the address. Some more just looked it up on this is Zillow, just to take a look at from the outside of the house, and show you that, okay, and I already showed you that Jack Wood information, okay, and then so I think that's pretty much all I have that on Odessa over there. But here, let's talk about Lubbock, okay. This is interesting. This was in 2016, okay, in April 2016, and I've kept the person anonymous, but I know who it is, and if law enforcement wants to talk to that person, and so they can follow leads up in these multiple murders and this organized crime, then I'll be glad to give it to them. But here's what she told me. She says in between Quaker and Slide, it's a big gap. There are other underground homes here as well connected to the tunnel. She lives over in Lubbock. Okay, so she's telling me there's underground homes in Lubbock. Well, maybe there's illegal casino brothel. That's what I'm thinking. That that's kind of what it's a theory. And then she goes on here at the bottom, says I was told that a lady had shots coming up, gunshots had coming up from her house, like underground. She called the cops. Nothing was done. Like that just didn't happen, which seems to be what's going on here with the police corruption problem. Yes, I was at the ER last week, very sick, say next to a girl who ran the streets and trafficked girls. She told me Midland, Odessa, Austin are the circle, and how the girls are traveled. And Abilene, it's a circle. Starts with Lubbock, goes to Odessa, Midland, Abilene, on to Austin. In between, there's a town. I can't remember what the name of it is. So she's talking about sex trafficking, and and that's that little girl that was murdered, that Angie told me was murdered at the oil show party. Is because she didn't want to prostitute, and they killed that girl. So that's forced prostitution, and that's what sex traffickers do. It's not unheard of, and then my home there in Hobbs before I moved to Midland on 7611 Roland Meadows, and there's a whole story on that, about people in the attic. My daughter recognizing that there was a light on in my attic that and I hadn't been up there, and so I thought an ex-wife that I was married to had gotten up in that attic. In 2018, I asked her on Facebook, I know you were in my house. Did you get in the attic? And she says, I didn't get in the freaking attic, and it sounded truthful. And if she didn't get in a freaking attic, then somebody else got in a freaking attic, you know. And it basically is what I'm saying. That house is rigged like all these other homes where people report in the attic. I didn't know it. I lived there 16 years. Well, maybe there's an underground facility there somewhere, you know. Maybe an illegal casino there. It was built, my home there, and the one next to it was built by my first in-laws, okay? And you know, and there's a whole big story about that, but maybe they know something. I've suspected there was a tunnel in between them two homes there. And then here, we'll talk about, we're going to finish this up real quickly, and not spend a lot of time about here in Midland. And you know, this I could see from the Google Maps again how perfect of a place this would be to have an illegal underground casino brothel, you know. And remember, I recorded a woman telling me that there's 4 3-bedroom homes, at least 25 foot deep, each costing over $1 million a piece. Okay, she said they're having pedophile parties down there. Okay, I've suspected that, you know, based on evidence found through these years, the people at the oil show parties that were going to the underground homes or whatever, maybe illegal casino brothel, was parking in this parking lot in front of the Midland Home Depot, going down, and here, there, it looks like the ground was cut, a tunnel was here, okay, and then in my backyard, it looks like there was one underground home, and it looks like, I've guessed maybe another one in this empty lot over here. That would only be 2 out of 4, okay, and so that was just to give you the, you know, the overview there. And, you know, and I was at Home Depot talking to a clerk once, telling her my story, and she told me, she says, did you ever see a lot of cars in the parking lot late at nights because they're stalking? I hadn't seen it and thought about it, but, you know, it was just weird. She said that it was like a clue, you know, but of course, you know, big parties, illegal casino, they would need a lot of parking, and they would need an excuse to explain it, you know. It's because we're stalking, you know, or whatever. And so I'm thinking that's what was going on, okay. And then online, it would, you know, here I was doing my investigation. I'm talking to a woman named Rhonda Denman Rogers. Law enforcement should talk to her, you know. And I'm telling her, I said, my home is sitting on on top of some underground facility, maybe an illegal casino and brothel, maybe one like there's over in Odessa, maybe like one over in Lubbock, maybe in Hobbs. Maybe that's what's going on in these underground homes is illegal casino brothels, okay, game rooms, okay, money makers, you know, organized crime. But anyway, she tells me, yes, I know it's a half block away. That's why I think it's that other home that's around the corner in that empty lot, you know. Okay. And then here, I want to show you. This is from Google Maps, and this is my home, 3802 Fair Circle. I've showed this many times because you can do it, you know, on your phone, on your computer. Just go to maps.google.com, put in my address, 3802 Fair Circle, and look in my backyard. You know, there's a big building, you know, bunker, whatever, in my backyard, in the backyard of my home where I was ambushed and shot by somebody under my home. And when you switch over to the satellite screen, it's not there. You drive down the alley and you look, and there is no big, large building there, but you look on the block screen and you can see it very clear. That's to this day. I think that's one of them 4 underground homes that I was told about, that I recorded that phone call. You can listen to her tell me that. And then Rhonda Denman Rogers told me one was a half block away. A woman named Layla O'Brien, she tells me she's a CAD programmer. She worked on this underground project, cost $7.35 million, finished in 1987. She believed the Bushes were involved in that, and Midland is the hometown of the Bushes. At the time, the vice president was George H.W. Bush, the dad. Okay. And then earlier this year, Sheriff candidate Joe Lozano, I'm telling him my story on the phone, and I'm recording him. He don't know it, you know. And I'm telling him about the 4 underground homes and being shot and the secret police and all that. And he stops me, buddy, that was a hideout for Sheriff Painter, you know. That's another recording. That's actually a viral video, that phone call. So that is so many people documented saying they're here. You know that they're here. I mean, that's all there is to it. You know, you can't doubt that, you know. And then this one here This is behind Home Depot. Last year, I met Homeland Security because they're supposed to take care of human trafficking. The key word there is supposed to. It looks like they're assisting with it, is what it looks like to me, because I showed them all this evidence, you know, and I went back there behind Home Depot. I showed them, here, this map. You can see where the ground's cut coming directly at my house, coming out of the back of Home Depot. That's where I think the people were coming. They were going to the you know, here in the backyards is the underground home. That's probably an illegal casino, brothel, the old show parties where the little girl was murdered, etc. You know, it's right there. You can see it. That's where I'm showing them where it's at. And then, you know, even this guy, documented Ricky, said, I used to live in your home, used to go in the tunnels under it. You know, one more person, law enforcement talked to me. But anyway, 2 weeks later, the ground's dug up and concrete was poured. 2 weeks after I provided Homeland Security all this evidence, and they're supposed to stop human trafficking, you know? And so I think that's a big old clue. Somebody needs to talk to Homeland Security agent Paul and find out what he knows, you know, because obviously something's very, very fishy about that. And then lastly here, the proof showing that I wasn't shot with my gun means that somebody shot me, right? I mean, I think we can all figure that out, you know, and there's all kinds of proof showing that, you know. It took a long time. I didn't have the proof when I was ambushed and shot by surprise with my phone lines cut. I was supposed to die, you know, but, you know, since then, the size of pellets removed from my foot were 2.5 sizes different than what my gun was, okay? So that's ballistic evidence proving I wasn't shot with my gun, you know? I mean, right off the bat, we know that. That's like, oh, this guy's got a bullet hole in him from a 22. This guy's got a 45. Did the guy with a 45 shoot the guy with a bullet hole in the 22? No. Ballistic evidence says he didn't, you know? And we know I was shot from the ground, point blank range, directly at an artery. I was supposed to die. They cut my phone lines, you know? And then the surgeon said he removed a large amount of plastic from the wound, you know? Well, that I believe I was shot with this special bullet called a Glazer safety slug. It's a plastic-tipped, pellet-filled bullet. Well, what happens is the pellets in this bullet actually fit the size removed by the lab. Oh, well, there's your first clue. And then the surgeon said he removed a large amount of plastic, and that's plastic tip. You have some of these people that are trying to cover up these multiple murders. Oh, wait a minute. Shotgun shell has a piece of plastic in it. Oh, all right, I got it. Now I know how to cover up the murder of a little girl. Shotgun shell's got a piece of plastic in it. And then I pull out this document, shows where the ER doctor said he removed the wadding before surgery. Okay, so it wasn't the wadding. There goes your little excuse making, trying to cover up the murders of little girls and you know, and these multiple crimes, you know, but so, you know, it looks like, I feel for sure I was shot with, you know, this special bullet. More than that, you know, they sell it for a .45 handgun. Lisa Rogers is documented telling me I shot with a .45. And then in that little bitty room I was shot in, there wasn't enough room, physical room, for me to be shot with a 4-foot-long shotgun, okay? But there's plenty of room to be shot with a .45 handgun loaded with this special bullet to make it look like I was shot with a shotgun. And, you know, and doing that was going to allow them to rule my murder an accident, and that added $500,000 to the life insurance policy. And I believe that was known because my life insurance booklets had just been taken a couple of weeks before by one of the lifelong friends of Detective Rosie Rodriguez. Okay, so there's more proof of what's going on here. And let's see what my last one is. This is on the young girl. What we know for a fact is right now this is a current Crime Stoppers, you know, so call this number if you have a tip. You've ever heard of these underground casinos, call this number and, you know, and leave this tip, because I believe these underground homes, facilities, possible illegal casino, brothel is connected to the murder of this young girl. My friend Angie Mungia Hurley told me about a young girl that was murdered at an oil show party in 2010, and in 2013 the remains of a young girl are found outside of Midland, okay? And she was believed to be 14 to 21 years old. Homicide is suspected, okay? Current, you know, so that, you know, there should be an investigation going for this homicide investigation. But it, you know, as I said before, you know, I believe that they killed the guy that lived here before me. He died the week before the 2008 oil show. And they tried to kill me. We've already shown the proof of that. And so Once again, no accusations made, just asking questions, good citizen, right? Trying to make the community safer. If y'all have information on on these crimes or these underground homes, illegal casinos, whatever, let's speak up. Let's clean up this mess here. Talk to you later.